So hello and what's up everybody, welcome back to Screen Technicals. Today in this video we are going to create our home page. In the previous video we have seen how to work with the static dirs, right? We have configured the static dirs. Now in this video we are going to create our home page. So without wasting more time, let's jump into our VS Code. So as you can see, we have done this much of thing in our previous video. So you can say before this link tag, or you can say after this link tag, I'm going to, you can say, paste some more links, right? There is some of the fonts and some of the, you can say the font icons, right? So you can just copy them from my source code. The link of the source code is in the description box, right? So just pasting these things, right? Now I'm going to save this much of thing. Now let's go to the browser and let's see, does there some changes has happened. I will refresh the page and you can see the fonts have changed and some of the CSS, right? Okay, now as I have told you, we are going to create our home page, right? So I will remove this, you can say, working from this point and this div text, right? At this point I'm going to create, you can say, my nav bar, right? Okay, I'm going to, you can say, create a header, right? And I'm just going to give it a class of let's say header simply, and inside this header I'm going to have an div, right, with an ID of let's say it is logo. So make sure you are writing the exact ID and class, because this will inherit the CSS, right? So if you will just change this ID or class, the CSS will not work. So just keep the, you can say, class and ID, whatever I'm just writing, right? Now inside this we are going to have our, you can say, an anchor tag right here slash, and inside this anchor tag we are going to have our brand image, right? So I will inherit, but you can say I don't have an, you can say, the image at this point. I don't have my brand image in my static directory right now. So what I'm going to do is, inside the outside, you can say outside this CSS and inside this static directory, I'm going to create another you can say directory, and I'm naming it as images. So we have two images folder. So I'll just go to my you can say my explorer, just open this and go to the static, and inside this images I'm going to paste my image, that is this logo, right? Now just go to the VS Code at this point, right, and right here static, and right here images slash logo dot png, right? See this much of thing. Now just go to the browser and just refresh it, and you're going to see this thing, right? Okay, now you can see our navigation is just, you can see, it has been created. Now we need the links at this point, right? So just go to the VS Code and you can see outside this div, right, outside this logo div, I'm going to create, you can say, a nav tag, and I'm going to give it a ID of let's say nav bar, right? Obviously nav bar, so that the CSS will work. So as I have told you, you have to write the same ID and class which I'm writing at this point, so that your CSS will work, right? Now if you don't know how that is working, I have told you about that in my previous video, right? So I hope you are following the series, right? So make sure you are saving the playlist and watching the video step by step, or else you are not going to understand what I'm going to do at this point, right? So inside this nav tag I'm going to create an UL, and inside this UL I'm going to have my li, right? Right here lia, and let's say I'm writing here slash for my home and writing here home, just like this, and I'm going to replicate this, right? And at this point, as I have my menu endpoint, so I'm going to write here menu, and at this point I'm writing menu, just like that. And you can say I don't have created other endpoints, so we will be creating that, right? But before I'm just leaving that as it is, because we have not created that, and I will be creating that in the future videos, right? So I'm going to write here let's say we have menu, then we have our about page, right? And then we are going to have our contact page, and at last we are going to have our orders, right? Just like this. and you can say I'm going to give all of them a common class. So at this point, using, you can say, control and your mouse clicks, you can create multiple cursor, as many as you want, right? And I'm going to write here class equals to, I'm going to give the name this one, this snap underscore underscore link, right? Now just save this much of thing. Now go to the browser and just refresh this, and you're going to see these things, right? Now you can say we need, you can say that counter at this point, right? So I'm going to create a span element at this point, writing here span, right? And I'm going to give it a class of that is order underscore underscore num, right? And I'm going to specify it as 0 for right now, right? Save this much of it. Go to the browser and refresh it. So at this point, you can see the you can say it is not colored, and you can see CSS is not loading, right? So I'm just going to open up the CSS folder, the index.css, Control F, paste this class, and you can see this. So we have to, you can say, paste this, you can say, this order underscore underscore link, right, to our order anchor tag. Just copy this thing, go to the index dot, not index dot, right, the base.html, right, and where is that? This is the order class. So after this, just paste this class, save this one. Now if I'll just move to this point and refresh the page, and you can see this point, our CSS gets loaded, right? So we have created the navigation part, right? Now we are going to create, you can say, this part, right? So to create this part, what we need to do is we have to go to the index.html file, right? And at this point, I'm going to remove this much of thing, right? And I'm going to write here, okay, I'm going to create a section, right? And I'm going to give it an ID of, let's say it is section underscore underscore 1, right? And you can say, just save this much of thing. Now if you go to the browser, just refresh the page, you can see something is happening at this point, right? Now what I'm going to do is just go to the VS Code, and inside this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an h4 tag, and I'm going to naming it as that is welcome, right? Now save this much of thing, go to the browser, refresh it, and you can see this welcome. Now you can see our image is not loading at this point. So let's see why that is happening, right? So one thing we can do is just go to the index.css and just Control F, writing here section underscore underscore 1, I hope so. It is at this point, and you can see this thing, it is /images, it is bg2 at this point, you can say, because in my older project it was bg2. So I'll just change this to bg and save this much of thing. Now if I go to my index.html, and I hope so this will work right now, go to my, you can say, browser, refresh the page, and you can see the image, it has been loaded successfully, right? Okay. Now after this, what we're going to do is at this point I'm going to create an h1 tag, and I'm going to write here we cooked your desired, okay, desired, and then just I will replicate this thing and just remove these things and write here pizza recipe. I hope so the spelling is correct. Okay, just remove this, save this measurement to the browser, refresh that, and you can see these things, right? Okay. Now after that we have two buttons. If you ever remember, I just open up my project at this point, right here, pizza-corner.heroku.com, right? And it will just open up that, right? You can see at this point we have these two buttons, right? So we're also going to create the buttons at this point even. So after this, we are going to create the buttons. I'm going to write here, I'm just going to create a div with a class of btns, right? And inside this I having two anchor tags. One will be /orders, but we don't have the orders right now, so I'm making it as has, right? And at this point I'm going to write here, see your orders, just like this. I will replicate this thing, and I will change this to let's say view menu. See this much of thing. Go to the browser, refresh it, and you're going to see this buttons. But you can see it has become pretty much very easy to create, you can say, this thing, because I have already written the CSS for you and we have to do some minor changes. So you can say in the index.css, but that's okay, right? That's not a rocket science. Okay, now after just open the index.html file at this point, and you can say we have created, you can say, the buttons. Now I'm going to create another section right at this point. After this section tag, just I'm going to minimize this section from this point, and I'm going to create another section, and I'm going to give an ID of, let's say it is section underscore 2, just like this. And inside this I'm going to create, you can say, a div with a class of outer underscore box underscore 1, and just hit enter, and I'm going to give it one more class, that is box, just like this, right? Now inside this div I'm going to create, you can say, another div, right? And I'm just going to give it an you can say class of inner underscore box underscore underscore 1, just like this. Hit enter, and inside this div what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another div, right? So I'm going to write here dot icon. I'm just going to give it a class of icons, right? And inside this I'm going to have you can say my icon tag, right? And it will having a class of, let's say, FAS FA dash font, right, dash alt, just like this. Okay, now save this much of thing, go to the browser and let's see what is happening. And you can see this thing, we have you can say we have just got this, right? Now after this, you can say, after you can say this div, I'm going to create another div. I'm going to name it as text, right? And here I'm going to write here, and instead of just copying this from my source code, you can do the same, right? Because it has a simple h1 tag and a paragraph tag, just like this. See this button, go to the browser, refresh that, and you're going to see this thing. Now we are just going to replicate this, you can say, this this inner box, right? So just minimize this, copy this thing, give a space, paste that, paste the series first, go to the browser and refresh that, right? And you can see this thing. Okay, now go back to the VS code, right? And I'm going to change this thing, pasting from my source code, right? Save this thing. Now I'm going to change this one even, right? Paste that, save this kind of thing, go to the browser, refresh it, and you can see these things. So these are pretty much simple, right? You can copy this text from my source code, right? Or you can just write it of your own, right? Now we are going to create, you can say, this second box, right? So you can say go back to the VS code, just minimize this outer box 1, and after that I'm going to create another div with a class of outer box 2, right? And hit enter, and I'm going to give it you can say a class of box also. And inside this I'm going to have another, you can say, inner box, right? So I'm going to write here dot inner underscore box underscore 2, hit enter. And inside this I'm going to have an anchor tag, but before the anchor tag we have another div tag, right? So inside this we're going to create another div tag, and I'm naming it as social underscore icons, right? Hit enter, and inside this we're going to have our anchor tag, just like this. Give right here simply has, right? And then inside this I'm going to write here an I, and give it a class of, let's say it is FAS, not FAS, it is FAB, FA dash Facebook dash F. Save this thing, go to the browser, refresh it, and you can see this thing at this point, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy you can say this anchor tag, right, 3 times, let's say, and I'm going to make this as Twitter, and you can say just remove this F from this point, and I'm making it as Instagram, just like this. Save this thing, go to the browser, refresh it, and you can see these things. So finally we have created, you can see, the home page layout. So in the next video, what we are going to do is we are going to create, you can say, our login and sign up functionalities. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video, right? Because it is pretty much very simple, right? Because you don't have to write any type of CSS or JavaScript. You have to simply, you can say, just to copy the CSS and JavaScript, right? It's pretty much simple that I have told you in my previous video, and you have to just write, you can say, the HTML, and you can say the backend in the views.py, right? So thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next video where we will be creating, you can say, our login and sign up systems. So bye bye, take care.